Thanks, everybody. We're a live TV show. It was a little sketchy here. We were just shooting a breeze. Hope we didn't offend anybody, but, we were talking. Welcome to another live edition of Pittsburgh Sportsline in the BP TV studios. We got Jay in here on camera. Look how nice he's making me look. Can't beat it. We appreciate you watching the show. Thanks for watching us on Comcast 7 only in Bethel Park, Verizon 32 in Bethel Park, and all the way from Nemacolin to Cranberry, Wexford, and all points in between. We appreciate that. Thanks for liking our Facebook page and watching our shows. We have 6,870 likes. We appreciate that. Thank you, guys. And I have a few promos here. I'm going to put Jay to work on this. Get that one camera on the end on this. We're going to promote as soon as it comes up. Maybe not. There it is. It's a little blurry.
I thought that was my glasses.
No, put them on. Take them off. We're getting there. Olive Oil's Pizzeria, Hillcrest Shopping Center, 412-831-1900. Frank Fanero sponsors us with an XL pizza for all the volunteers here. We got Jay, we got Jack, we got Cooper. Do we have Zach? Is Zach here by any chance? I don't see Zach. So
He'll come in to grab a slice.
He may. We'll see. Hey, check out Olive Oil's Pizzeria, 412-831-1900. Next up, another one here for you, Jay. Bethel Park Historical Society's Schoolhouse Arts and History Center, 2600 South Park Road, 1905 school. They remodeled it, just put a new $140,000 roof on it. They run events through there. They got events coming up. Check out their website. And they have a best green tea place in Bethel Park at Reginald's Coffee. They have their own roaster, smoking gym. They can make you your own special coffee. They got from different countries around the world. Or you could have a spot of green tea with me, some loose leaf green tea. And we can share that someday. They got Wi-Fi, so you can still talk to all your sweeties and send the pictures like you do.
I like dark roast.
They can make that for you. He brought the first race card up, folks, very early. Somehow it come out within the first 2 minutes.
We're going to talk about the All-American race card today.
All right, that's what we need. We'll get that. It's coming up. We end each show with Stay Joey Strong. Poor Joey Fabus died before his 10th birthday. He was only 9 years old. He had brain cancer called DIPG. It's a death sentence. Once you're diagnosed, you die within a year. It's very sad. And the family's overcome that. They've raised over $100,000 to give to doctors to try to find a cure. So they're doing great things. They actually do a 5K, 1 mile run that I talk to the superheroes that dress up that way to run and walk that race in honor of Joey. So it's a great event right at the Bethel Park High School in September. Next up, Dave likes to have a little fun. This was supposed to be Uncle Sam Wants You for BP TV, but instead tell them Uncle Al Levine, the talking machine, wants you for BP TV. Put my face on Uncle Sam, and I don't mind one bit. We got great help here tonight. Jay's working the heck out of that camera there. He's doing exceptional work from where it was to where it is now. It's much better, Jay. Thank you. Give us a call here, 412-831-3304. You could be a volunteer here and on location when we do shows. Next up, another one. My last promo. The BPCF, Bethel Park Community Foundation, has money for you. From $100 to $5,000. Go to their website, www.bpcf.org. Get an application. I'm one of the trustees on the board. We have meetings every so many months. Come on out, plead your case, tell us why you need money for your group in Bethel Park. And we've funded over $970,000 over 25 years. So they do have money for you. We'll hit $1 million this year for sure.
But not for Jim.
No, not Jim Frazier. He hasn't shown us anything legit yet.
Hey, we're not giving it to the Rivers Casino.
And then we have a sponsor of What's on Your Mind. We're going to start that shortly. It's Skeets Lewandowski of Skeets Service Station. red, white, and blue station where they work on anything and everything that runs on gas. You name it. Weed whacker, boats, trucks, cars, lawnmowers. Anything that runs on gas, they fix it. They have a forge. They have a drive shaft company, Pittsburgh Drive Shaft. They make axles for you. They have a forge. They make hooks for all of Smokin' Jim's gear. He has a room just for all his gear. And then those size 17 shoes that you see him walking on water, he got hooks for them.
You mean the water skis?
Oh, well, he doesn't go that fast anymore, and you got to watch because these brothers walk a certain way, he told me, while he was recovering, so I understand that. But Skeets Lewandowski, give him a call. It's 724-348-4715. And the location, I got it right here, 6103 Route 88, Past Tracks Farm in Mineral Beach. So check it out. And we're going to start What's on Your Mind, Smokin' Jim Frazier.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green,
Coming at you.
you got to see Levine. There you go, Chipper. But I tell you what, I'm at the Rivers every day. And last week I'm at the Rivers, right?
Again.
And I see a brother playing craps, and it's number 18 for the Steelers, Deontay Johnson, the rookie.
Yeah. How's he
So
doing?
you know more about black people than anybody I know. How come black people like to throw the dice?
Because they're used to doing it at school, throwing the dice right outside the classroom.
He was a natural. he
That's-
had extremely long arms for his height.
No, that's good.
Yeah, that's good for a receiver.
Dude, did he go to Gateway?
No, he's from Florida.
Not everybody can go to Gateway.
Yeah, but we're recruiting hard, man. But I tell you what, I don't know how in the world Florida State, who's ranked in the top 10 in the country, gets beat by Duke, although Duke was ranked higher,
Yeah.
and Duke was at home.
You
But-
bet against Duke.
I bet against Duke for this reason. And I
Our
tell you
guest
what,
on the show.
Because you
Lisa
like to
said
lose?
thank you.
I don't know.
yeah, listen, here you go. Duke played, and Al Levine, the talking machine, and his son Drew watched the game.
Yeah.
One of the most emotional games ever on Saturday.
Yeah.
Where they came back from behind in overtime, or
Yeah.
was it double overtime?
Whatever. I
Yeah.
mean, to beat their
They-
in-state
they
rival,
beat-
Overtime.
North
They
Carolina.
beat North Carolina in an emotional game. Kids today can't come back in 2 days and play.
But North Carolina is a dog with fleas this year. You do realize that.
Yeah, but it was an emotional
They
game.
were up the whole game,
The kids today can't come back from an emotional game. So Florida State, a top 10 team, just as talented.
What did you
as
learn?
Coach K.
I learned that it's fixed.
Coach K. Best in the land.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
knows how to get
You
his
ever
team
hear
up.
of him?
Yeah.
You ever hear of him?
Yeah, I knew about Coach K when they was booing Jeff Capel. They calling him all kind of names, and Coach K got up after the student section for doing
Hey,
that.
man, that's, you know what? He protects his players.
But what's on my mind? Little Z's on my mind. Gateway's own Little Z. But hey, I'm the
Get a
only
piece.
one in this room. Not Cooper, not Alex, not Little Z, not Dr. J, not Al Levine, the talking machine, not Chipper. I'm the only one here that was at the Bethel Park on Saturday to watch a basketball game. So all you guys that say you got the school spirit, time to come to Gateway because none of y'all was here. Bethel Park is playing very impressively. I thought it was the Hoosier movies. They got kids with crew cuts and all that. Real fundamental, but they're playing.
Hey, the Bethel Park girls are champs.
I wasn't here for that.
How'd you miss that? How come
Yeah.
you don't know that being a Bethel Park
I
fan?
went to see this Steel Valley. They got this kid named Cam, white guy, in 6'2".
Disclaimer, the race card come out.
He's leading the WPIL with 30-some points a game. Can do everything on the basketball
What
court.
happened?
He had a baseline slam dunk that was unbelievable. It was African-American like. He got that kind of hops. But he can shoot, he can dribble, he can pass. They got a 9th grader, number 24, black kid that's unbelievable. But Bethel Park handed it to him pretty good. And I tell you what, Al Levine, the talking machine, Bethel Park although there was nobody there. I thought maybe I was in the wrong day. You know what I mean? It was very, very empty. Beautiful gymnasium.
We've been there.
But Bethel Park.
You've announced games there.
Bethel Park handled their business in the beautiful gym. There's no school spirit there, but they did a good job. They handled Steel Valley. Shut down Cam. Pitt should recruit this kid because he's unbelievable. 30 points a game in high school is almost impossible to do. And Bethel Park was able to slow him down a bit. But how come every white guy from Homestead acts like Paul Spatafore when they get there? I'm near, and I'm sitting behind Cam's mom. Beautiful, beautiful. I tell you what, she wears them jeans good, right? I didn't know it was his mom until her son, her oldest son, gets thrown out of the stadium. The gymnasium by the referees because he's acting like Paul Spatafore. He's cussing out the referees for not blowing the whistles. A high school game. They throw him out. He has to get the keys from his mom so he can sit in the car. So they're like, they send security over. They're looking at me. I'm the only brother up there. I'm pointing over. It's this guy over here. And he's cussing him out, man. He's like, I'm getting my keys. The mom's yelling, I got to give him the keys, you know. So he got the keys. He got thrown out in the first half.
Wow.
But it was very entertaining. But
it sounds like it.
I tell you what.
How's Zach?
Huh?
How's Zach?
Zach was there. He was upset. He felt the referees wasn't doing their job. But I stayed 4.5.
Funny how when they win, they're great, and when they lose, it's the ref's fault.
Well, a lot of it was the ref, I would say. A lot of it, they wasn't blowing whistles on. But when you play
My
on the
dad's
road,
looking down on you right
but
now.
when you play on the road,
He's saying I wasn't a homer. My dad's saying I was not a homer. Smoking.
And I could be bought. But that's what's on my mind.
Thank you, Smoking Jim.
I
Chip
was the
Painter.
only one there, past your house.
Did
on my
you?
way out.
You didn't even beep. I'm so close. Chip Painter, what's on your mind?
Well, spring is here. Spring is here.
We just had snow the other day.
Yesterday, pitchers and catchers reported to Bradenton. It's a sure sign of spring, and you know the word's out in the national media. Pirates are predicted to win 60 games this year, lose 102. ESPN reports that Pittsburgh's fan base is so disillusioned. Okay, but guess what? They're going to be playing baseball this weekend.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know what to expect from the Pittsburgh Pirates this year. Obviously, we're not expecting a playoff-bound team. It's going to be interesting to see what the Pirates' young talent will accomplish with some teachers. The Pirates have a lot of young talent on their team. They've hired people into the organization as coaches, as managers, as scouts that have a reputation for developing young talent. And it'll be interesting to see how this plays out this year. I don't think that they're going to be as bad as everybody thinks they are. Now, I do remember I suffered through 2010.
Yeah.
And if people don't remember about 2010, there's two numbers that will bring it all into clear focus.
Yeah.
57 and a 105. I sat there through that summer going to the Pirate games, and it was a painful experience. They had a manager that had no passion for the team, no passion for the game.
Yeah.
John Russell.
Unbelievable.
And they had some young talent on that team that nobody thought would ever accomplish anything. Yeah. And they brought in the right man at the right time, and Clint Hurdle was able to turn this team around and turned it into a playoff contender for 3 straight years. But then Clint Hurdle lost his touch. I think his ability to connect with the younger players of a different generation, it wasn't there, and it was time for him to move on. So, instead of getting on the bash the Pirates wagon, I am going to be quiet. I'm going to watch what happens instead of trying to criticize everything they do, everything they say, everything that they don't say. People have criticized the Pirates for not getting rid of their draft picks, not getting rid of their minor league players.
Yep.
Then when they did it, guess what? everybody's criticizing the Pirates for getting rid of all of their young talent.
Yep.
So, this is a team that no matter what they do, if they went 162-0 this year with this team, people would find a reason to tear them down because that's just what people are doing around here. Everybody hates Bob Nutting. He's the Antichrist. Well, good. Go root for the Yankees. I'll keep rooting for my Buccos. And there is going to be Major League Baseball played in this city this year at PNC Park, and I'm going to enjoy every minute of it. You want to know what's on my mind? That's what's on my mind.
Thank you, Chip.
Can I say one thing before we go to Elevator talking machine?
I guess we
Can
better.
we stop you?
I'll be at the Rivers putting my money against the Pirates this year.
Yeah.
I hope they make me a
Right.
lot of money.
And that's why you drive a hoopty. Okay? Because your track record in betting, the Rivers just keeps getting richer.
They give him a hat because he's there so much. They'll give him gear because they build casinos on losers.
Hey, when I saw him last Wednesday on the tube, I thought they gave him the sucker. Because they said there's one born every minute.
Did you see it? Did you see the show?
I saw your intro.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Can we move on, Smoking?
Yeah.
What's on my mind? First, look at the great painting by John O'Praskak. In the back, the American flag. And then look at Three Rivers Stadium. A lot of great memories for us three here. In spite of Smoking Jim not learning about baseball till 8 years ago when he joined the show. He never saw a baseball game till after that.
And he saw 3 innings of one with me once.
I know. I had to walk him to his car to
Not
show
even
him how
the
to get
first
out.
3 or the last 3.
It was about the middle.
It was the middle 3. 3rd, 4th, and 5th inning.
Well, I got to clarify. We were coming from a Jessica Lee show, so I told him we'll be there and we'll stay to the end of the game. Well, about the 2nd inning there, he goes, "Hey, Machine, we got to get to my car. I'm parked on the street." I go, "So am I. We'll be all right. There's no charge after 6. So we left before the 7th. No, did we see the 7th inning? I don't think.
No.
I think we left during the 7th inning
Stretch, yeah. Because Smoking Jim goes, "What's the stretch?" I go, "Wow, you don't know much baseball."
And I played it for a lot of years.
Yeah, no.
I have not talked to any of your friends that have ever verified it. And I go, "What's up with Smoking Jim?" And they go, "That's how he is."
I was a fastball pitcher.
Wow. What hand did you hold it in?
2 fingers.
Tell me anything.
We got to get to my what's on your mind.
Jim, I may have been born at night, but not last night.
Wow. This is getting deep here. I almost forgot what's on my mind, but Chip, baseball's on my mind because now they're going to start investigating the Boston Red Sox for stealing signs. And their coach Cora is gone, and he was the ringleader in Houston. So let me do a simple math for what I taught my kids. 1 + 1 = 2. Now, Smoking Jim may ask that because he graduated from Gateway, and didn't know what's even up with 1 + 1. And I said, if it doesn't make sense to you or add up to 2, it's a lie. So with all these ball players lying, Charlie Morton come out and said he should have done more. I asked, what did you do? If you knew about it, he did nothing. So he come out saying he should have done more. And that was a Bucco pitcher. It was in Houston.
And Joe Musgrove
Yeah.
says that it's, I hate to say that our championship was tainted, but it is.
And how can you not penalize these players? Chip told me you can do the quote by the home run
the home
leader.
run king, whose 86th birthday was last week, Hammerin' Hank Aaron. And his opinion was on the sign stealing dilemma that baseball has right now. He said, when I was playing the game, if you made it into second base and you were able to pick up a catcher's signal, and you would share it with your teammates in the dugout, And he said that was part of the game. What the Astros did, he said, went way up and beyond that. And he said, and my feeling is that Major League Baseball wasn't tough enough on them, that everybody that was involved with the scandal should be banned from baseball for life.
How old is Pete?
86.
86 years old.
86-year-olds. I know it's senile, but he speaks pretty good.
Oh, he speaks very well. And
And then what did he say about Pete Rose?
And they asked him about Pete Rose. Does
No, they
Pete
didn't.
Rose belong back in baseball?
Yeah,
He
'cause
said
he's appealing.
One word, no.
Oh, that's senile. He's jealous.
What's he jealous of?
Of Barry Bonds.
That is no senility there. That's honesty. Something Smoking
That is
Jim.
by one of the true greats of the game who
Something-
played the
He wasn't
game
no
the
Willie
right way.
Mays. He wasn't no Willie Mays.
He was just as good. Just as good.
You don't even know about Willie Mays.
I think one of the best outfields of that era would have been Clemente in right, Hank Aaron in left, and Willie Mays in center
All
field.
black outfield.
There, nothing would have hit the grass.
Yeah.
All black outfield.
Nothing would have hit the grass.
Thank you, Smoking Jim, for your insights. We appreciate it as usual. And we'll be back with some fiction and fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac.
Little Z in the house, and Alex. But fiction and fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac, I tell you what, goes back a few years when I interviewed the great Terry Bradshaw, who had an awesome prediction in the Super Bowl, but it didn't turn out to be true. But
Did he
looked
do
good.
something like you do?
Huh?
Bet the house.
Well, Terry got enough money, even with 3 ex-wives,
Yeah.
that he still handles.
Well, he's
And
still
his
working.
And his daughters are beautiful.
He's still working at his age.
Huh?
He's still working at his age.
Yeah. And he does a great job. But I'll tell you what, I'm in the back room with all the legendary super stillers back there.
Yeah.
And I remember Greg Lloyd came in limping. You know, it looked like one leg. I don't know if he had a hip operation, but it looked like one leg is longer than the other.
Probably.
Now. Same old Greg Lloyd, still mean, but a humble guy comes in by the name of Donnie Shell.
Yeah.
So I go up to Donnie Shell, who played at an all-black school at South Carolina State, and I see Donnie Shell. And Donnie Shell, Toon Chilkin, Greg Wolfley, probably 3 of the most religious guys, other than Troy Polamalu, that come through.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh always had Bible study during the week and invited the guys over. And I go over to Donnie Shell and I'm looking him out in his eye. And I tell you what, Donnie's still in great shape. And I tell him, and I'm kind of excited. I'm like, man, Donnie, I tell you what, man, is there anything I can do to help you get into the Hall of Fame? You know, I don't know what I could do, you know, other than
You're a good talker.
Other than Ty and Bouchette, free lunch Bouchette, throw him in the back of the trunk, get somebody else to help get some Steelers in. And he looked me right in the eye, and as humble as he can be, he says, he's at peace with it. I mean, he really had he assumed that he probably would never get in the Hall of Fame, and he was at peace with it. He wasn't bitter. He enjoyed his career, did everything he could. He can't do anything more. So I was just so happy for Donnie Shell to finally get into the Hall of Fame and break the myth that there was too many Steelers from that era in. I always thought that was BS. I always thought that the only reason Moore wasn't getting in was because of free lunch Ed Bouchette. But Ed Bouchette this year had a back injury. And friend of the show, friend of ours, Dale Lawley went.
Nice guy.
Who's a nice guy. He ain't rough like the 3 of us that would have been breaking tables and getting more in. Fanica would have got in if we was in. But Dale was able to get 3 in, something Ed Bouchette could never do. So congratulations to Donnie Shell. Well deserved. Don't you agree, Chip?
Absolutely. And, and I just still, in my heart of hearts, I believe that Elsie Greenwood should be in the Hall of Fame with the rest of his teammates. It's a shame that he's not.
Blame Ed Bouchette on that.
Well, don't know who to point the blame at, but while he was still alive, it would have been really. I mean, he was very deserved. He has the record for most sacks in a Super Bowl game. 4.
I didn't know that.
4. Super Bowl 9. He had 4 sacks.
Smoking Jim and Chip, I got to tell you a story. You know, I worked down at the Pittsburgh Press and Post-Gazette. There was an after-hours club called Monty's.
Know it well.
Friends of mine owned it.
Lanny and Joyce.
Yeah, and Brian was my friend, and Lanny was my friend. He used to take me home from practice to Braintree, because I stayed at their house sometimes in Dormont. So long story short, I got in there one time when I was 19 years old. So it was after work. I'd have a couple hot toddies or something.
Adult beverages.
Yeah. And we're there. I'm there now. I'm probably over 21. And they go, hey, do you want to meet L.C. Greenwood? I go, you're kidding. Because I met Sidney Thornton up there.
Did you?
Yeah, I met him. He was a big guy. His legs alone.
Yeah.
Oh, man. What a nice guy. And I had a friend of mine who happened to be black named Stanley Reed, and he looked like Sidney Thornton.
That's a black man.
Yeah, he was a good guy. And we're up there, so I meet L.C. Greenwood in an after-hours club at like 3 in the morning. What a nice guy. He talked, you
Dressed
know.
well.
Yeah, he was well dressed.
Yeah.
You know who I met? I met there?
I have no idea.
Brian Blankenship and Keith.
Get on.
Willis and Gary.
How about
Really?
I'll throw another name out at you that I met there. You ever hear of Dale Barra?
Baseball player.
Yeah.
Yogi's boy.
He used to come up
Really?
to Monty's. I can't say what he was doing or saying,
Yeah.
but it was not good.
Yeah.
And that's why he didn't have a long career.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, but I met a lot of sports guys up
How
there.
come I didn't know about this place?
Because you got to spend some money sometime, buddy.
Yeah. You weren't getting
They
free
waived
drinks.
their membership
Yeah,
fee more
you weren't
for
getting-
me. I didn't
yeah.
have to pay a membership fee, but I was allowed up there. I'd come to the
I
door.
was a
Lanny'd
bartender.
go, come on in.
I was a bartender downtown, so I got a free membership there.
It was a great place.
Oh,
Great
loved
times
it,
there.
Loved it. Walked out of
I
there
was
many,
probably
many
up-
a moons.
Going home.
Did
Yeah.
get a little sleep. That's
Yeah,
nice.
because we finished our job early. We got done early, so we got to relax a little bit and meet some great people. That's my L.C. Greenwood story, and we'll be back with some fiction and fact. Oh, no, we got fiction and fact. We'll be back with some Penguin talk.
No Chip's trivia.
Oh,
Chips trivia.
Oh, we got to get Chips trivia. Wait,
Yeah, we'll be.
messed it up.
Well, man.
Yeah, you got.
So, we, of course, my dear friend Jim is always bringing in the race card, and I like to bring in the All-American race card. Sunday, the Daytona 500,
Yeah.
the All-American race. Tune in on Fox. You got that, Jim? But
You missed it.
I like to always pay a tribute during Black History Month to the Negro Leagues of Baseball, which are
I'm with you.
as important a part of the history of baseball as the National League or the American League.
I have that famous paperback book I lent to Smoking Jim. Read 19 pages.
So I'm going to go through an early history of the Negro Leagues, not really where there'll be players named that you'll recognize, like Cool Papa Bell and
Yeah.
Satchel Paige and Oscar Charleston and
Yeah.
and Josh Gibson, and the list goes on and on. Because black people were not being accepted into the major and minor league baseball leagues due to racism in the United States. Did you know that racism existed in the United States?
Not in Monroeville.
Okay.
yeah.
They formed their own teams and had professional teams by the 1880s. The first known baseball game between two black teams was held on November the 15th, 1859. That was before the Civil War, my friend. In New York City, the Henson Baseball Club of Jamaica, Queens, defeated the Unknowns of Weeksville, Brooklyn, 54-43.
Wow.
Immediately after the end of the American Civil War in 1865, during the Reconstruction period that followed, a black baseball scene formed in the East and Mid-Atlantic states. By the end of the 1860s, the black baseball mecca was Philadelphia, which had an African-American population of 22,000. Two former cricket players, James H. Francis and Francis Wood, formed the Pythian Baseball Club. Wow. They played in Camden, New Jersey at the landing of the Federal Street Ferry because it was difficult to get permits for black baseball games in the city. Octavius Cato, the promoter of the Pythians, decided to apply for membership in the National Association of Baseball Players. Normally a matter of sending delegates to the annual convention. Beyond that, a formality. At the end of the 1867 season, the National Association of Baseball Players voted to exclude any club with a black player. In some ways, black ball thrived under segregation, with the few black teams of the day playing not only each other, but white teams as well. Black teams earned the bulk of their income playing white, independent, semi-pro clubs. Baseball featuring African-American players became professionalized in the 1870s. The first known professional black player was Bud Fowler, who appeared in a handful of games with a Chelsea, Massachusetts clubs in 1878, and then pitched for the Lynn, Massachusetts team in the International Association. Moses Fleetwood Walker and his brother, Welde Wilberforce Walker, were the first two black players in the major leagues. They both played for the 1884 Toledo Blue Stockings in the American Association. Then in 1886, second baseman Frank Grant joined the Buffalo Bisons of the International League, the strongest minor league, and hit .340, third highest in the league.
Chip, just to interrupt you, weren't the Pirates started in 1875?
1887.
1887, okay.
Okay?
Yeah, I need a refresher on
Yeah,
that.
really, really fresh.
So we started 30 years or so after the black leagues and stuff.
Right.
I wanted to put that in perspective with Smoking Jim.
Because several other black players joined the International League the following season, including pitchers George Stovey and Robert Higgins. But in 1888 was the last season blacks were permitted in that or any other high minor league. Wow. So until Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier in 1947,
they were banned.
They were banned from playing professional baseball. And, this gets into a little bit more in depth into the history of the black baseball players in the Negro Leagues. And I will be missing next week. I'll be out of action. I have to work. Won't be here for the show. But 2 weeks from tonight, I will
finish this
consolidate this and make it into something that's not going to take the whole show or not put everybody to sleep. And I'll condense it down to highlights, and we'll talk about how the Negro Leagues got started, how they thrived, and ultimately how they became part of the American passport. Yeah, oh, exactly.
It's okay if it spills into March too.
Well, as long as it takes, okay? Because I want to give it its proper respect. But the interesting things I found is that the first African American ball players played long before 1947.
Sure.
And most people don't know those names, but it's something that that I find fascinating. One of them batted .340. That's putting the bat to the ball.
That's some hitting.
That's putting the bat to the ball. So there you go.
Thank you, Chip. I appreciate that. On location. On the 24th, we'll be in Ambridge, PA.
Yes!
John Panaris Agency. It's a tax agency. If you need help with taxes, contact John Panaris Agency. They're at 651 Merchant Street in Ambridge. So we'll be there on the 24th. We're going to do a show there in his office. He said, we're going to hang your sign up behind you on the cabinets and files. So he's setting it all up for us. Can't wait to have us out there. He's got a few guests lined up. I got one of our guests, Chris Dempsey, who was a UFC fighter. Great guy. Lives 2 blocks away, Smoking Jim.
Wow.
He goes, I know the family, too.
Really?
Yeah. So it's a small world. You know how Pittsburgh is.
Maybe we can get the touchdown maker out there.
Well, I don't know. I'm telling you about it, but you're always scheduling somebody else, so I don't know what'll happen there. And then you left last night's show early. I don't know what happened with that, but you can explain your way out of that. Chip, what do you got?
Penguins up 1-0 first period. Evgeny Malkin scores the goal. Sid Crosby with the assist.
Great
Wow.
job.
1-0
Great job.
first period. Penguins in the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Great
Where's
job.
Zucker at? We got to see our new guy. All right, so on location, we got a show coming up March 9th. Then we're doing our first fundraiser for Pittsburgh Sportsline and the Kidney Foundation of Pittsburgh. It'll be March 16th at Al's Cafe. Judge Arnone's going to be our special host with me and Smoking Jim, and it's going to be a $10 donation at Al's Cafe, and they got great food, drinks, and everything else. Great location in Bethel Park. Can't beat it, and they agreed to have our show there, and we'll be filming, and we'll have some fun and try to raise some money for the Kidney Foundation. So come on out then. That is March 16th. And then March 14th, we're going to be on location doing boxing at the Millvale Community Center, right in the middle of downtown Millvale. So Smoking Jim, it's a few blocks away from the VFW. They said it's a great location. I saw some pictures. Tim Davis is always promoting stuff out there, so it looks like a good event there. And Jose talked to me yesterday. We may come up with a couple more ideas to help with promotions. So check that out, March 14th, like 7:30 at night, and that'll be great amateur Golden Gloves boxing. So the season's off and running. Check us out there. Smoking Jim and I will be announcing and filming, and we'll have a great time out there.
St. Patrick's Day.
No, yeah, St. Patrick's Day. So when you're out drinking in the parade and stuff, come on out to Millvale. It's only about 10 minutes away, so you can come out. Smoking Jim's not a drinker, but he'll be dressing all in green, and I promise you he'll have lime green shoes, because boxers never lose if they're wearing size 17 lime green shoes.
And if you wonder where the Leprechaun's pot of gold is going to be, follow the rainbow to Jim.
Of course, make sure it's before he bets. And we'll be back with some Penguin talk. We're
All
missing
right.
a few things.
Okay.
We're back with Penguin talk.
Penguin
Just
talk.
made a trade.
Jim Rutherford did it again. And
I was calling for it. I
and
said
the
we
Penguins
needed a forward.
needed another forward, and they got the guy that they were trying to get. As a matter of fact, Jim Rutherford had consummated a trade
Last
for
year.
Jason Zucker last summer.
Yeah.
And Phil Kessel put the kibosh to it because Phil Kessel had rights of first refusal.
Yeah.
And he chose not. So the Penguins ultimately ended up trading Phil Kessel to the Phoenix Coyotes for Alex Galchenyuk, who was nothing short of a major disappointment. Only scored 4 or 5 goals this year. So Rutherford was able to trade Galchenyuk for Jason Zucker, our first-round draft pick and a high-rated defense prospect, to get the man that they wanted. Now, this is a guy that's going to fit in so well with the Penguins because he's got speed. He's got the ability to put the puck in the net. Just 2 years ago, he scored 33 goals.
And he's never played with guys like Malkin and Sidney Crosby. He's going to be on Sid's line.
He's going to be on Sid's
which is
line.
fantastic.
He's going to be a top 6 forward, and he's going to fit in real well, and especially with Jake Getzel out for who knows how long.
It could be the whole season.
You know, this is really going to strengthen the Penguins' offense as they get into the playoff stretch.
They needed
and
it.
right now, the Penguins, I tell you what, the Eastern Conference, there's a lot of tough teams that they're going to have
Boston.
to watch out. The Penguins are going to have to contend with the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Boston Bruins, and the Washington Capitals. And I'll tell you this, you know, the Penguins are going to have to beat 2 of those 3 teams to go anywhere in the playoffs. Fortunately, Tampa Bay will either get beat by Washington or Boston, you know. But there are some 4 really strong teams in the Eastern Conference. And then you can't forget about the defending Stanley Cup champions, the St. Louis Blues. They're a big, rough team, and they can play whatever kind of game you want to play with them. And they, you know, so this year it's going to be Now, I'll tell you what, going into the playoffs, it's going to be wide open. It's going to be rough and tumble.
How
And
good is Washington?
Washington is good enough to win it all. You know, the only thing that's questionable about Washington right now is probably their goaltending is their biggest question mark.
Ovechkin will overcome that.
Well, you know,
He can't.
He
can't overcome that.
Well, Ovechkin is probably the greatest goal scorer of his generation.
Yeah.
And he could potentially ultimately end up being the
Beat
top
Gretzky.
goal scorer in the history of the NHL.
Gretzky come out and said it's hard to score goals like I did, and Ovechkin's doing a heck of a job doing it.
and Ovechkin
so if he
is-
lasts long, he may beat
So what
Gretzky.
Chip is saying, he's the greatest player of his generation.
Of his generation, absolutely.
Greatest player of his generation.
Probably.
Yeah, but you're
yeah.
missing the point. Gretzky's the greatest of all time.
I agree with that.
He just gave a
And-
compliment to
and-
Ovechkin.
and Gretzky-
You missed that because you were on your agenda.
Well,
and
and-
quit fixing your glasses while we're
and let me
talking
tell
about
you something.
sports.
Gretzky was probably the greatest player I ever saw play.
Me too.
But 1A, let's not forget about the man with the
6'6".
sharpest elbows, in the game, Gordie Howe.
Yeah.
Gordie
was
Howe
great.
played that
was
game
great.
for almost 40 years, and
he
that
was
guy
great.
was as good as they got.
Yeah, but I got to tell you, if Lemieux were healthy, just the natural ability he had, like Gretzky, Ovechkin doesn't give a lot of assists. He's about the goals. Gretzky had, I think, 1,900 some assists, plus almost 900 goals.
Yeah, and here's the thing with Gretzky.
That's huge.
The reason why Gretzky had more longevity than Mario Lemieux is that
Here come
Mario
the
Lemieux
excuses.
was the biggest
facts.
guy on the roster for the Penguins.
Yeah.
Gretzky was not the biggest guy. He could have been one of the fastest,
Yeah.
but he had David Semenko as his guard dog. And anybody that checked Wayne Gretzky got
They knew.
to have a conversation with Cementhead.
Smoking Jim doesn't even understand this concept
What
of
excuse.
how guys protected the
No,
goal
and
scorers.
Lemieux didn't have anybody. You know, Lemieux.
And he
one
would
of his
whine
best
about
friend
it.
was Jay
No,
Caulfield.
he didn't whine about
He
it.
whined all the time.
No, he didn't.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you what. If he would have been able to operate the same way Gretzky did,
They
Mario
changed the
Lemieux was-
rules for Lemieux. They changed the rules because he didn't like to be touched.
What the neutral zone trap?
I don't know what that is.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't even know what he went through. My man, you're so far out of your league.
So
This league, he's not even in the league.
okay.
We digress.
we digress.
We digress.
So the
far.
Penguins are playing the Tampa Bay Lightning. Had a bad game against them last week, even though the Penguins came out of the All-Star break on fire.
Yeah.
They laid a stinker last week, lost to Tampa Bay 4-2,
Yeah.
and they got a rematch with them. Now, here's the interesting thing about playing the Tampa Bay Lightning. Last night in Columbus, Tampa Bay played Columbus Blue Jackets. You
Right.
know, and the Columbus Blue Jackets is a big and rough team. And then boom, within 24 hours, they're here playing the Penguins. So hopefully the Penguins will play a better defensive game than they played last
They
week.
just didn't look like they were inspired that game against Tampa. They're a good team, but they took it to them from the beginning, and there was no stopping them. But they did come back with 2 goals that were impressive, and it looked like they were close because it was 3-2 until they got the empty netter.
Right now, it's the end of the first period. The Penguins are up 1-0 against Tampa.
No, that's good
you know,
news.
yeah. I'd rather go up 1-0 than be down 1-0. So
Good point.
No doubt. And I'm happy they made the trade. They needed somebody to replenish
and you know
goals.
what? And do not think that Mike Rutherford is done.
No.
You know, I mean,
Jim
the thing I like about what. Oh, Jim Rutherford.
Yeah.
My, I get
You're thinking of
Rutherford, and
Sullivan.
I get the two of them. But here's what the thing is: what he was able to do is he was able to strengthen the team without taking anybody off
Right.
the major league squad. Alex Galchenyuk in the last 6 or 7 games really hadn't played much
No.
because the coaching staff's fed up with him. He's not performing the way they wanted him to
Anticipated, yeah.
perform. So so they really didn't give up much to get him a first round draft pick. It's going to be in the bottom half of the draft,
Right.
probably the 25th to 30th pick in the draft. So are you really going to get that
Right.
that high caliber of a talent?
It's almost like a second-round pick.
Probably not. The prospect, defenseman. Well, you got to give up. You got to get something up to get something back.
But we have a lot of defensemen, so we're lucky like that.
We do, and Rutherford is good at playing.
He massages that.
And the way that he massages the salary cap, and makes all this happen by,
His maneuvers have been great.
his maneuvers have been great. So the Penguins have their work cut out for them. They have accomplished absolutely nothing to this point. And that's the way they've got to play the rest of the season. They've got to play like they're fighting for their playoff life. Because if you look at the Eastern Conference standings, and Jim was talking to me about this off the air, they are so tight right now. Well, I mean, you could be third or fourth in the Eastern Conference right now,
Or first.
blink your eyes, and end up being eighth or ninth with
Wow.
without too much happening.
Or in
So,
first place if you go on a winning streak.
Yeah, so
You could be up to the
yeah,
top
you-
team.
Well, don't you give a lot of the credit for the success of the Penguins to Crosby because
He didn't play.
Because he takes such a low salary. He could be making a lot more than
He
he's
didn't
been
play.
making.
That's a Pittsburgh discount.
Huh? Yeah, Pittsburgh discount,
Yeah,
right?
he
Don't you
believes
agree,
in it.
Chip?
Well, but the the thing is about Sid Crosby, he's going to be getting paid in
It's a futures deal.
yeah, because
Okay.
he's getting paid $8.7 million a year. That's his 87.
Yeah.
He was born in 87.
He's
87,
superstitious.
right? That's his number.
He
So,
didn't know.
I
Yeah,
didn't know
okay.
that.
I was saying.
I knew he always got that salary because of the
Yeah,
number.
but
and all
but
that.
they worked
And
it
his
out, and believe
birthday.
me, he is being compensated, and the Penguins prepared for the salary cap era because when they initially signed him, there was no salary cap.
Really? Wow.
Yes, as a matter of fact, I was listening to somebody on the radio today talking about how the Penguins are always in it every year, and they're the model franchise, and that the Pirates don't do this. Well, people forget that in 2002 and 2003, the Penguins stunk,
Yeah.
and they were terrible. And how did they end up winning the Sidney Crosby lottery? By tying
worst.
for the worst record in the league and winning a lottery pinball drop.
Yeah.
And the pinball came up with the Penguins number, and they got Sidney Crosby. So
Luck
what did
was
they
involved.
have to do? They had to
Lose.
completely stink, and before they could become good. So
But the Pirates stunk back then too.
Very astute, Smoking Jim. Look that up in the dictionary. Very astute. You didn't even know they were playing back then. 202. Get that.
My Guinness Book of World Record tells me all I need to know.
How many years?
20 straight.
All right. Thanks. Smoking Jim.
So we've got the beginning of spring training. There's really nothing to
No,
report.
not yet. It's too
I
early.
mean, we don't know who's going to do what. The Pirates are discussing potential trade with Tampa Bay.
Right.
Tampa Bay's loaded with outfielders right now. They're talking to Kevin Pillar, who's a free agent, who also happens to be talking to the Red Sox. And, well, you know what?
We'll see what happens.
The Red
with
Sox are always able to pony up, but the Red Sox just did a big salary dump.
Yeah.
By trading
Got rid of
Mookie
Mookie,
Betts,
yeah.
Mookie Betts, because they're trying to get back under the
don't wanna pay the
luxury
luxury
tax.
tax.
Okay, so and then people in Boston are saying that the Red Sox are tanking it because they got rid of David Price, they got rid of Mookie Betts.
Yeah.
You know,
And look, they just won the World Series a couple years ago.
well, yeah, with the Alex Cheatin' Cora.
Yeah.
You know, with, so yeah, to get back to the this controversy with baseball, I think Rob Manfred made a big mistake by
He wanted them to rat out the teams, but not be
Well, you know
accountable.
what?
How can you not be accountable when you're part of the cheating crew?
here's what and I feel that the 2017 World Series championship, I think it should be vacated.
I agree.
And I think that's what the record book should say. And the players, if they've got their rings and they
Take
they
that
have
trophy.
any decency, they would turn their rings in.
What?
Yeah, you know what? It's not a legitimate championship as far as I'm concerned. They cheated to get it. Period. End of sentence. It's proven beyond a reasonable doubt. So
Thank you.
and I'm a very big proponent of cheating should not be accepted nor tolerated. And, I'm always going to be of that opinion. And it seems like the longer we go on, the more that people just accept it as the norm, and it's not.
Well, you're talking to a guy that says if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
No,
And he believes it. And here's what happened. They got caught. So when you get caught, what do? Smoking Jim calls it you make up excuses. In other words, you lie about it. That you didn't really do it, or you didn't know, or somebody else did it. And they're all accountable for it because that's in the rules. Especially you're not supposed to use technology to do it. So they broke it straight up. And that's what happens. We're almost done with this show. We're winding down. We only got probably about 20, 30 seconds left. Thanks, Smoking Jim Frazier, for all your input and racism. Appreciate that. And lying about playing baseball. Chip, I appreciate your Black History Month information, because Smoking Jim's a little weak this month on it. So we got to deal with it. I'm Al Levine, the Talking Machine. Thanks for watching our shows, liking our Facebook page, and I want everybody to please stay Joey strong.